they had then charged an Indian man currently in Czech Republic for that particular foiled plot as well. India then reacted. India said that these are matters that concern us, these are grave allegations which will be looked into, which is why a high-level committee has been formed. That is a step that has now been welcomed by the United States. We had Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, also come out and say that India is a strategic partner. This is something that we take seriously, but we do have to look into these allegations, and we're glad that India is doing so. So what exactly has happened so far as India and the United States is concerned? Remember, the standoff between India and Canada has been going on over the free run to Khalistani elements for a long time now. But here's what has happened as far as United States and India is concerned. Let's get you that details of what exactly the US has claimed so far, and then what India has said. We're talking about the United States linking Indian agencies as far as this foiled attempt on Gurpatwant Singh Pannun is concerned. India then went on to say that it's incorrect to link any Indian agency or any Indian government employee with it, but we will look into these allegations and a high-level committee will be formed for that. Listen in to some reactions coming in.
Look, as you would have seen, as we have informed earlier, during the course of discussions with the US on bilateral security cooperation, the US side has shared some inputs pertaining to nexus between organized criminals, gun runners, terrorists, other extremists. We take, of course, such inputs very seriously, and a high-level inquiry committee has been constituted to look into all the relevant aspects of the matter, and necessary follow-up action will be taken based on the findings of the inquiry committee.
Partner, and we're going to continue to work to improve and strengthen that strategic partnership with India. At the same time, we take this very seriously. These allegations and this investigation, take it very seriously. And we're glad to see that the Indians are too, by announcing their own efforts to investigate this. And we've been clear that we want to see anybody held, that's responsible for these alleged crimes to be held properly accountable.
Those responsible must be held accountable is what the United States says. India has also come out and in its response said that we will form a committee and look into it. But let's also take a look at who exactly we're talking about. We're talking about the Chief of Sikhs for Justice, Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, who is known to whip up the anti-India sentiment, foment trouble both in Canada and in the United States. He's even put out threat videos one after another, threatening the Sikh community, threatening the India's ambassador, the High Commissioner to Canada as well. So let's take a look at what exactly India's stance has been as far as action or the lack thereof against Gurpatwant Singh Pannun is concerned. This is what we've gathered from our sources within the intelligence agency. Pannun has been trying to gain monetary advantage, and he's trying to do this while he is in Canada. Remember, he's a dual citizen of Canada and the United States, which is why we've seen this kind of comments that have come to the fore from both those countries. US must hear Pannun's provocative speeches as well when they come out and talk about this investigation is what India believes. Indian agencies are also saying that Pannun provokes nations and their leaders. He's doing this on purpose with allies of India like United States and Canada. Pannun is an accused. He has multiple FIRs here in India filed by the National Investigating Agency. That is also something that these countries need to take into account while they are defending their national. US and Canada must hand over Pannun to India is what Indian agencies believe. That is something that will be worked upon. Both the countries are harboring a terrorist is the exact sentiment that India has, and that is the message that has been conveyed to both those countries, that this is not just any citizen of their particular country, but a man who whips up sentiment against the Hindu community, against the Sikhs community, against the Sikhs and against India as a whole. He is putting out threat videos one after another, targeting Indian diplomats as well, and that is something that cannot go unpunished, is the direct message that India has been sending to these countries. Siddhant, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more perspective on this. Now, Siddhant, we've seen the kind of response that India had when Canada had made allegations like these in the past as far as Hardeep Singh Nijjar's murder was concerned. Now we have United States coming out as well, but India here now going on to say that there will be an investigation and we too want to cooperate because we are strategic partners after all.
Well, that's right. So in one of the meetings of bilateral security cooperation, this particular input was shared by United States with India. And since India is also concerned and perhaps has been raising issue of gun runners, global criminal syndicate, that perhaps runs from the foreign soil has always been a matter of concern for India. And since this particular input, which was shared by the government of US to with India, is linked to the same issue which India has been talking about. And India has to say that this is the reason that high-level committee has been formed, and this particular action is guided by the results. So this is what the government of India has to say on this whole issue. But the fact of the matter, Poonam, is that this particular case has come to light because of the indictment that took place in US court, and perhaps the charges that have been made in the indictment. In fact, there are various characters which have been defined, and a CC1, then there is one Nikhil Gupta, then there is UC, then there is one other DA person who Nikhil Gupta believed to be to have a criminal background, but was actually a DEA agent. Perhaps U.S. government, since the matter is in court, the attorneys have to put forth the evidence they have with them to back the claims that have been made in the charge sheet, in the indictment sheet that they have filed in the court. Point number one. Point number two, the government of India has made it very clear in the official statement also that it is the case of Indian official being linked to a person who was planning to do criminal activity. So that is perhaps the stand of Indian government. So that is something which Indian government is right now looking into. So if the government of US wants to perhaps take this case forward, or the Justice Department wants to take this case forward, then they have to provide evidence. They have to give out the proof. What proof they have, to indict these individuals, or to name or to link the government, the Indian government official with a criminal person with a criminal background. So that is something up to the courts in US and also to the government of US. But what we can confirm for our viewers is that Indian government has formed this high-level committee. They are looking into the matter, and since they have said in their statement also that that this particular decision is guided by the results, so we can expect the result from the committee at any given point in time. Back to you.
Right, so then stay on with us. We've seen the kind of responses that have come to the fore from the Indian side. First, when Canada had made similar allegations as far as Hardeep Singh Nijjar's murder was concerned, and now the United States making similar allegations. The alleged involvement of US government officials is something that the United States has come out and alleged as far as this thwarted plot to kill Gurpatwant Singh Pannun on US soil is concerned. But let's listen in to what the US Secretary of State had to say on India's response of forming a committee to probe these allegations.
First, this is an ongoing legal matter, so you'll understand I can't comment on it in detail. I can say that this is something we take very seriously. A number of us have raised this directly with the Indian government in past weeks. The government announced today that it was conducting an investigation. And that's good and appropriate, and we look forward to seeing the results.
Now, Siddhant, as far as Nikhil Gupta is concerned, the man who has been charged for this attempted murder plot against Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, he currently is in Czech Republic. The US is seeking extradition of him. But what has been India's stance on him, and whether these allegations against him are true or not?
Well, right now the government of India is looking into the charges that have been framed against Nikhil Gupta and the other characters in this entire case. Perhaps the case that has been made by US Justice Department. So the government of India is going through that. The high-level committee is going through that. Also, maybe in a later stage, there is again going to be some sort of an exchange as far as the evidence is concerned, or kind of a proof that will be put forth before the court to back the claims that have been made in the court by the US attorneys. So it's not very easy. And you look, Poonam, just a short while back, we played that sound bite of Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and at the very start of his answer, he said that since matter is in court, it would not be fair on his part to make
Sure.
comments. And that is what...
Sorry to interrupt you there, Siddhant. Do stay on with us. Rabinder Sachdev, former diplomat, security analyst, joining us here on this broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. You know, there is a difference in how India has reacted first when the Canada made these allegations, the Canadian Prime Minister made these allegations, and now that United States has. How do you read into that?
No, certainly, yes. One, there's a difference in the way in which the Canadian allegations came about and the way in which the American charges are coming about, right? In the case of Canada, it was talking about credible allegations, potential, etc., which Trudeau said out without any evidence, let's say. In the case of, US here, there is definitely evidence. It has been filed in a court, right? So there's a difference between the two cases, and the US has gone about it in a different way, I think much more mature with respect to India. The big interesting thing I find in this, honestly, is that if India, kind of arranged whatever it's being claimed with regards to Pannun for a measly amount of $100,000, I mean, I would think that, given the huge amount of sensitivity involved and the high stakes involved, I mean, this guy, Nikhil Gupta, should have been paid at least $1 million or $5 million to, execute this, rather than $100,000. What's $100,000? I mean, that's a very big question to my mind. And if you want exceptional hitmen, otherwise, what is it? Is it a sloppy job done by Indian agencies, which I doubt could be? But this is something that I wish to point out, that notwithstanding whatever the other issues around the case, but I find this amount to be a very meager amount for such a high-profile, high-sensitive killing if I were to give, the assignment to any hitman.
Sure, it'll be interesting to see when that evidence is shared with this committee that is going to be investigating here in India as well, and what really comes out of that. But Rabinder Sachdev, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18 and sharing your perspective, and for Siddhant for getting us those inputs. We are shifting focus now to the big story, and really the only story that perhaps India is talking about, or at least 5 states in this country are talking about. And those are results of the election. 5 states are going to have a new government come Sunday, because that is verdict day.
Welcome to the News 18 mega poll of polls, ladies and gentlemen. It's the semi-final before the finals. The first set of numbers are the Jan Ki Baat numbers that we are putting out here. What are the numbers saying? The numbers are very clearly saying that it's going to be neck and neck, with the Congress with its nose just ahead.
2 polls are calling it so close, then you have to give the advantage really to the incumbent.
And in the words of Shivraj Singh Chauhan, what he told us, that मैंने सब कांग्रेस के promises को पंचर कर दिया.
The last few days or weeks of elections are always very critical. They make or break your mind, and that's where the BJP stepped in.
One thing we can fairly say is in Rajasthan, the BJP will come back to power after 5 years. And in Chhattisgarh, at least 2 out of 3 polls seem to be giving the indication that the Congress and Bhupesh Baghel will retain.
Basically, not having a face in Chhattisgarh, there was definitely an anti-incumbency, but it was not a wave of anti-incumbency which could translate into a change of government.
And I think Pradeep may have a point there. People want to see a face. Chehra kaun hai? ये 22 सीट का मार्जिन क्या है? What is the basis? This is like hedging my bet. चलो यहाँ भी आए तो भी मैं जीत गया, वहाँ भी आए तो मैं जीत गया.
And look at this number. The Congress is very strong in only 5, and it is weak in 53 seats, which is it's never won 53 seats.
So 2-2 out of these 4 key states. Is this possible on result day live?
The voters have decided, the pollsters have decoded, but reactions coming in, and it looks like the Congress can't decide, depending on what state they're looking at and how they feel about these predictions that have come to the fore from the exit polls. Kamal Nath, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, now coming out and reacting, going on to say that these exit poll predictions are nothing but a reason to frustrate the Congress workers in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Remember, this comes at a time when most exit polls have predicted a BJP win in Madhya Pradesh.
कांग्रेस के सभी कार्यकर्ता पूरी ताकत से मैदान में आ जाएं। भाजपा चुनाव हार चुकी है। कुछ एग्जिट पोल जानबूझकर इसलिए बनाए गए हैं कि कांग्रेस कार्यकर्ता निराश हों और झूठा माहौल दिखाकर अधिकारियों पर दबाव बनाया जाए। ये षड्यंत्र कामयाब होने वाला नहीं है। कांग्रेस के सभी पदाधिकारी, जिला अध्यक्ष, जिला प्रभारी, मोर्चा संगठन के प्रमुख और प्रकोष्ठों के पदाधिकारी अपने अपने काम में जुट जाएं और निष्पक्ष मतगणना कराएं। हम सब जीत के लिए तैयार हैं। हम सब एकजुट हैं। आपको कोई भी समस्या लगती है तो आप सीधे मुझसे बात करें या पीसीसी में 3 दिसंबर को फोन करें। मैं पूरे समय में रहूंगा। 3 दिसंबर को कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार बन रही है।
Nikhil now joining us on this broadcast, getting us more perspective. Nikhil, it's interesting because these are the same exit polls that have given 2 other states to the Congress party, and that is something that they seem to be welcoming. But as far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned, Kamal Nath said that this is nothing but only to frustrate Congress workers, and the BJP is definitely going to lose day after tomorrow.
And Poonam, this is the first reaction which has come out from the PCC chief, that is Kamal Nath. He has been the chief minister for 6 months as well in the state of Madhya Pradesh. And why they are saying so? Because the number which is being predicted or which are given by the exit poll agencies as well, it is opposite to what is being predicted by the BJP leaders as well in the state. It has come as a shockwave across the state. So this is the reason why for the very first time reacting on the same, Kamal Nath has said that the numbers are made in such a way in the exit poll to mount a pressure on those officers who are usually part of the counting. And if any of the Congress worker is facing any of the issue, then they should report it immediately. And for the same, the training extensively has also been given out to all the MLA candidates as well and to all the workers as well. And apart from it, there is also a control room which is being planned out by the Congress party at the state headquarters in Bhopal, where if anybody is facing any of the difficulty or any of the fake that sense happening is going to take place, then they should report immediately at the headquarters. And also, Kamal Nath has said that BJP is just losing this particular election. Back to you.
Right, Nikhil, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. Reactions, of course, pouring in. We had the exit polls coming in yesterday. We are less than 48 hours away from counting day. CNN News 18 is going to be your destination for exactly that. But take a look at how political parties have reacted to what these pollsters have projected.
हमारे सभी कार्यकर्ताओं का अनथक परिश्रम और जनता का प्यार और आशीर्वाद, केंद्र की योजनाएं भी, चाहे वो पीएम गरीब कल्याण योजना हो या पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि हो, पीएम आवास योजना हो या फिर मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार की योजनाएं, चाहे वो लाडली बहना हो जिसने बहनों की जिंदगी बदल दी, लाडली लक्ष्मी से लेकर लाडली बहना तक का महिला सशक्तिकरण का एक लंबा सफर है जिसने बहनों के हृदय में एक अलग स्थान भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए बनाया। ये उन्हीं को ढंग से नीचे पहुंचाने का परिणाम है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी फिर शानदार बहुमत प्राप्त करने जा रही है।
हम 4 राज्यों में, छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, तेलंगाना में अपने बूते पे सरकार बनाने जा रहा है। मिजोरम में हमारे बगैर कोई सरकार नहीं बनती, तो गठबंधन के साथ सरकार बनेगी। मैं इस मामले में बहुत अस्पष्ट हूं और ये मेरे अपने अनुभव पर आधारित है। जहां तक सवाल अगर आप करें कि ये जो आए हैं चुनाव के बाद के जो सर्वे, तो मैं सर्वे का सबसे बड़ा आपको उदाहरण देता हूं कि सर्वे का सर्वे कर लीजिए, कोई एक रिपोर्ट दूसरे से मिल ही नहीं खा रही। सर्वे ही आपस में एक दूसरे की काट कर रहे हैं, तो उन सर्वे पे मैं भरोसा नहीं करता। मैं व्यक्तिगत तौर पे अपने पे भरोसा करता हूं कि 4 राज्यों में हम सरकार बनाएं।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी 3 राज्यों में निश्चित तौर से सरकार बना रही है। एग्जिट पोल और एक्चुअल रिजल्ट जो है उसके बीच का अंतर, जो हम लोगों को फीडबैक है पार्टी का, कार्यकर्ताओं का, वह फीडबैक यही है कि हमारी सरकार मध्य प्रदेश में, राजस्थान में, छत्तीसगढ़ में बनने जा रही है। तेलंगाना और मिजोरम में भारतीय जनता पार्टी इतिहास का अपने, जब से तेलंगाना बना है या जब से मिजोरम में हमने चुनाव लड़ना शुरू किया, तब से अब तक की सबसे बड़ी विजय प्राप्त करेंगे। आज 1 तारीख हो गई है, कल के बाद परसों कौन कहाँ है, कितने पानी में है, पता चल जाएगा।
आप देखिएगा तीनों राज्य मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, छत्तीसगढ़, यहाँ कमल का फूल खिलेगा। मुद्दा विहीन है विपक्ष, सत्ता विहीन है विपक्ष और अपनी इन आचरणों से अभी बहुत लंबे समय तक सत्ता से बेदखल रहेंगे।
तेलंगाना में तो हमारी सरकार बनेगी, राजस्थान में भी हमारी पूरी उम्मीद है। जो कुछ रिपोर्ट जो मध्य प्रदेश के बारे में हमको तो जो रिपोर्ट मिल रहा था कि मध्य प्रदेश में स्थिति अच्छी है, छत्तीसगढ़ में तो जीत पक्की है। तो 3 तारीख के सबको जो है सब लोग इंतजार कर रहे हैं 3 तारीख के लिए। अब 3 तारीख को फाइनल हो जाएगा। गहलोत साहब बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट हैं, सरकार आराम से बनेगी और गहलोत साहब जादूगर हैं।
The exit polls have spoken, but will they corroborate with what happens on counting day? We'll tell you all of that here on CNN News 18 over the next 36 hours, because Sunday 6 a.m. is when the big broadcast begins. 8 a.m. onwards, the numbers will start trickling in and 5 states will have new governments. Whether they are incumbents who are back or whether we see new parties come to the fore, we'll get you all of that and much more here on CNN News 18. For now, a quick break.
मोदी सर
बिल्कुल नहीं। छत्तीसगढ़ के गांव गांव गली गली में नारा गूंजा है और नहीं सहिबो बदल के रहिबो। छत्तीसगढ़ में भाजपा आवत है, ये नारा पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ में गूंजा है। और देखिएगा जब 3 दिसंबर को मतगणना होगी तो आप पाएंगे कि छत्तीसगढ़ में कमल खिल रहा है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली है।
तो आपके हिसाब से
आत्मविश्वास
आपके हिसाब से 45 का हाफवे मार्क है, तो भाजपा उसको पार कर पाएगी? कितनी सीटें आप भाजपा को दे रहे हैं? आपका आकलन क्या है?
निश्चित रूप से पूर्ण बहुमत भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिलेगा, क्योंकि हमने नरेंद्र मोदी की गारंटी जनता के सामने प्रस्तुत किया है। हमारे केंद्रीय नेताओं के लगातार प्रवास हुए हैं। वहीं दूसरी ओर राज्य की कांग्रेस सरकार ने हर वर्ग को ठगने का काम किया, धोखा देने का काम किया। एक भी वादा 2018 में जनता से जो वायदे कांग्रेस पार्टी
ये सब तो आप चुनाव में जाकर जनता को कह रहे हैं। अरुण जी, मैं आपको टोक रहा हूं, क्योंकि किसी भी एग्जिट पोलस्टर ने छत्तीसगढ़ में बीजेपी को बहुमत नहीं दिया है। सारे आंकड़े हमारे सामने हैं, किसी ने भी नहीं दिया है। तो आप कैसे कह रहे हैं?
कल तक आप लोग ये कहा करते थे कि मुकाबले में नहीं है छत्तीसगढ़ में भारतीय जनता पार्टी, बहुत दूर है कांग्रेस से। लेकिन आज जब एग्जिट पोल आया है, आपने नजदीक की फाइट दिखाई है, तो ये बताता है कि कहीं ना कहीं भारतीय जनता पार्टी फाइट में है। लेकिन ये सैंपल साइज बहुत कम संख्या का होता है। मैं आपसे दावे के साथ कह सकता हूं कि अपने कार्यकर्ताओं के मेहनत के दम पर जनता का जो रिस्पांस हमें मिला है, पिछले 1.5 सालों में हमने जनता के हर मुद्दे को सड़क से लेकर सदन तक लड़ाई लड़ी है और जनता का आशीर्वाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिला है।
47 सीटें
क्योंकि राज्य की कांग्रेस सरकार ने ऐसा निश्चित रूप से 3 दिसंबर को देखिएगा, छत्तीसगढ़ में कमल खिलेगा और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी।
3 दिसंबर को मैं आपको आमंत्रित करता हूं कि आप जुड़े हमारे साथ फिर से, और फिर साथ में फिर जश्न मनाएंगे। अगर आप जीतते हैं और अगर नहीं जीते तो फिर आपको कुछ प्रश्नों के जवाब
बिल्कुल जश्न मनाएंगे। और छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता भी एक बार फिर दिवाली मनाएगी। राज्य की अन्यायी, अत्याचारी, भ्रष्टाचारी कांग्रेस की सरकार से छुटकारा मिलेगा 3 दिसंबर को। और छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता एक बार फिर दिवाली बनाएगी।
जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अरुण साहू जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच। नाउ ब्रिंगिंग द कन्वर्सेशन बैक टू दिस होल मैंडेट कन्वर्सेशन. Is it a pro-Modi mandate or is it an anti-incumbent mandate in the states? Where do we stand on that? GVL Narasimha Rao was about to opine on that, but we'll go to GVL first. We take it here.
Stand, which is basically shows a 2-2 kind of draw between BJP and Congress. It's definitely a pro-Modi mandate.
See, Congress has become stronger in Telangana. Now it's 63. Congress exit poll of polls. The poll of poll number for the Congress is 63. Way clear.
I'm saying that for a couple of reasons. In Madhya Pradesh, they've had 2 decades of income of a BJP government with a 1.5-year interim of Kamal Nath in between. 3-4 months ago, nobody gave BJP a chance in Madhya Pradesh. If the BJP, if there's still such a tight contest in Madhya Pradesh with the BJP ahead in a margin call, I think that's a lot of credit to the BJP party machinery and to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has been at the center stage of the BJP campaign in both Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, despite it having old satraps who have been who not been with the chief ministerial phase.
Right.
So if the BJP does do well in both these states, you'll have to say that brand Modi retains its potency for the BJP.
There is one thing we are forgetting in all of this. If you say that the Congress is going to win in Telangana, then basically the BRS is going to start fighting for its survival at some level. What does that do in the Lok Sabha scenario to that state? It opens that state up.
Yeah.
Those seats then are open season.
Yeah, they're right for the BJP and for the Congress and the other parties.
It changes things nationally.
There will be a shift. We've got numbers from Telangana for and these are Chanakya numbers. Let's look at the Chanakya numbers as pass आइए तो आपको number दिखा दें. So it's a multi-party contest and a multifaceted contest. Telangana numbers, everybody would be keen to make inroads. Somewhere one gets the sense that the AIM is not gaining ground, it's actually losing ground. So let's quickly look at the numbers. 7 for the BJP, 1 others. AIMIM actually may not win much, and today's Chanakya is very clearly saying at this point that the mandate is going to the Congress party handsomely. 71 seats. That's a runaway win. That's a rout of the BRS, and that's the end of the third front.
That's the end of the third front.
At least BRS was trying to mount. They changed their name from BRS to BRS because of the national ambition.
And that opens that election in the Lok Sabha. I think that this is very consequential at the national level.
GVL, you want to weigh in on this?
More than one reason.
Yes.
If there is caste.
What was the main thesis that the BJP unfurled in Rajasthan, that the women are not safe?
Women are not safe.
Yeah.
So law and order. See,
Women.
but then what you're trying to say is that this entire caste game doesn't stand, because if you're looking at caste, then you can't look at caste only from a male prism.
I'll still go with what
women will also don't women identify with caste then?
They do.
You're trying to say if they do identify with caste, then let's not say women voters are voting separately.
Exactly.
No, either they are voting as part of their caste, or they are rising above the caste and looking at the factor on ground.
More and more women want to enter the workforce.
We got a number on CNX number. We've got
more women are wanting to enter the workforce. If they have to,
GVL is there as a quasi-cephalogist. Yes,
exactly.
Quasi-cephalogist. Now no longer into cephalogy, but we will ask GVL on this aspect also, that is this entire caste census thing, is it now a bogey? And should it be looked at only from a male prism? That's another question. But let's look at the CNX number. What is CNX giving as the numbers? Let's go closely. And they are saying CNX 100 is the par number, and CNX is saying that Congress should get 104 seats in Rajasthan. This is the CNX Rajasthan number. And BJP will fall short. 80 to 90 seats for the BJP is what CNX is saying. So these are the latest Rajasthan numbers, and that's why we see the Congress poll number on the edge of your screens bumped up to 80, and the BJP slipping down to 107 from 109. Let's look at the next one. We got one more.
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Borde. And we're tracking right now comes from Ghaziabad in Uttar Pradesh, where an elderly was almost driven to suicide. He was extorted via a deepfake video. His daughter came out and said that at least 74,000 rupees were extorted out of him. He was depressed and on the brink of suicide because he would keep getting these fake video calls, and he was being blamed for abetting a suicide. Now a case has been registered in this particular issue. The person who was impersonated on that deep fake is yet to register a separate complaint, but that will be investigated by the police as well.
पूरा सीक्वेंस अगर आप बता पाएं कि एग्जैक्टली हुआ क्या था आपके फादर के साथ?
पापा के साथ एक्चुअली में फेसबुक के थ्रू एक फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट आई थी किसी मेल पर्सन की, तो पापा ने रिक्वेस्ट एक्सेप्ट करी। फिर उनके पास कॉल आया, तो कॉल पापा ने अटेंड नहीं करी। उसके बाद पापा ने दोबारा कॉल बैक करा उन्हें, तो पापा से बात हुई, तो सामने जो कैंडिडेट बात कर रहा था वो कोई लड़की थी। इनसे बात करते करते उसने कुछ गलत बातें स्टार्ट करी, तो पापा ने फ़ोन कट कर दिया था। फिर उसके बाद उसकी वीडियो कॉल आई। वीडियो कॉल एकदम न्यूड थी, तो न्यूड वीडियो कॉल को जब पापा से वो गलत बातें स्टार्ट कर दी या गंदी बातें स्टार्ट करी, तो पापा ने फिर फ़ोन को काटना ही ज़रूरी समझा और उस नंबर को ब्लॉक्ड कर दिया उन्होंने। फिर उसके बाद थोड़ी देर बाद एक कॉल और आता है, उसी दिन शाम के टाइम कोई एसएसपी बन के कॉल करता है, द्वारका का हेड ऑफिस का पुलिस ऑफिसर बताते हैं अपने आप को कि ऐसे ऐसे आपके खिलाफ एफआईआर दर्ज हुई है और आपने किसी लड़की के साथ गंदा काम करा है, उसके फ़ोटोज़ हमारे पास आए हुए हैं और उस लड़की ने सुसाइड कर लिया है, कूद के सुसाइड कर लिया है और आपके ऊपर 306 धारा लगाई गई है। और अगर आप इससे बचना चाहते हो तो हमारे पास संजय जी बैठे हुए हैं, आपको मैं इनका नंबर दे रहा हूँ, आप एक बार उनसे बात कर लीजिए। तो ये सब चीज़ें सुन के पापा काफ़ी हद तक घबरा गए थे। फिर पापा ने संजय जी से बात करनी स्टार्ट करी, तो संजय जी ने कहा कि हमारे पास 2-3 आपके पिक्स हैं, अगर आप ये चाहते हो कि हम इसे मीडिया से ख़त्म करें तो आपको हमारी कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट पूरी करनी होगी। तो पापा ने पूछा किस तरीके की रिक्वायरमेंट आपको चाहिए, तो उन्होंने पैसों की डिमांड स्टार्ट कर दी।
फिर उसके बाद आपने इवेंचुअली एक पुलिस कंप्लेंट लॉन्च
कंप्लेंट करवाई हम।
थाना क्षेत्र कविनगर पर दिनांक 27 नवंबर को वादिया मोनिका शर्मा जी के द्वारा एक सूचना प्राप्त हुई कि उनके पिता के साथ कुछ लोगों के द्वारा वीडियो कॉल करते हुए पुलिस अधिकारी बनकर धमकाया गया तथा उनसे 74,000 रुपयों का हस्तांतरण करा दिया गया। उक्त के संदर्भ में तत्काल ही तहरीर प्राप्त करके सुसंगत धाराओं में अभियोग पंजीकृत किया गया है। घटना के अनावरण हेतु टीम गठित की गई है। इसमें साइबर सेल का भी सहयोग लिया जा रहा है। शीघ्र ही घटना का अनावरण किया जाएगा।
Nikhil, my colleague, now joining us live, getting us more details of what exactly is happening in this particular case. Nikhil, if you could give us a sense of what the status of the investigation is. We're given to understand that at least one of the entities involved, which is HDFC Bank, where the money was deposited, they have now been contacted by the Ghaziabad police.
So Poonam, the Ghaziabad police is working on the two angles. Firstly is that they are tracking the phone number from which the video call and the audio call was received to the victim person, and on the other side they have also written a letter and mail as well to Meta at the same time, and also to the HDFC Bank. That is the same bank account where which the amount, the 74,000 amount which is being talked about, that amount was transferred into the HDFC bank account. So these are the factors where the Ghaziabad police is currently working on. But apart from it, the video which was allegedly being used, which is also being talked about as a part of the deepfake technology, although the police is not able to comment on the same, that particular video as well has gone to the cyber examination as well, the forensic examination as well, so to say. The person which was being impersonated, he has been to the position of ADG, not just in the city of Lucknow but also in the city of Prayagraj as well. This tells us about the intensity of this particular case. But now the official FIR has been registered, and under section 66D of the IT Act, the case is currently being proceeded. So the cyber branch of the Ghaziabad police is currently looking out into this particular investigation. On the other side, the family continues to say that they were not aware as to this kind of modus operandi, so to say, can also take place to dupe a person who is 76-year-old. So this is the current status as far as this case is concerned. Back to you.
Now, Nikhil, the person that was impersonated on that video call, the deepfake video that actually came to the fore, is a retired IPS officer, is what we're given to understand. Has the Ghaziabad police gotten in touch with that particular person? Have they tried and pursued if there is another complaint or another FIR that would be registered there?
Well, this is the relevant angle in this entire case. We have spoken to all the senior officials of the Ghaziabad police as well, whether a separate complaint has been lodged from the retired ADG or not, for which they have clearly specified that already in this entire case a single FIR has been registered and no separate complaint so far has been received by any of the family member or the ADG retired in particular so far. So the proceedings or the investigation, so to say, is currently being done only on the basis of the actual FIR or actual complaint which was registered on the online portal app of the Ghaziabad police by the daughter of the victim person.
Right, Nikhil, thank you so much for getting us the latest on the investigation. We are shifting focus now to a controversy that has erupted over the National Medical Commission, and this is over their logo. We had several within the opposition come out and allege that the national emblem on the NMC's logo had been changed, and instead they had put a picture of Lord Dhanvantri, who is the Ayurvedic god. Now the NMC has come out and said that this is an incorrect and fabricated piece of information that is doing the rounds. There was no national emblem in the logo to begin with. All that they have done now is that change the color scheme of the logo, which also has been in place for over a year. So why the hullabaloo now, asked the National Medical Commission. We spoke to their representative. Listen into what they had to tell us.
Yeah, I'm giving you the basic picture. I think 1.5 years back, we put a public notice and we asked for students and various fraternity people to participate and give their opinion and also send us the logos, and they sent. And then in this whole exercise went on and on. We had multiple meetings internally in NMC, and after 9 months or so, in 5th NMC meeting, the issue of logo was discussed.
Okay.
And in 6th, the logo was finalized.
Okay.
It was the same logo which is there right now. But we noticed two things over a period of 1.5 years last year. One, when we print it, it's not, the central part is not visible, and it's just, we could not make out what it is. So the central Dhanvantri Bhagwan, which was already there, Dhanvantri, it has, we have colored, we made it a colored this thing, one. And second, we realized that the word should have been Bharat, but it was Bharatiya somehow, Bharatiya. So we corrected that, we put Bharat on it, and this central logo was colored rather than black and white. This is the only change. But this is there for more than a year.
But before that, I think it was the constitution, the lion.
No.
logo.
That is perfectly fake thing. And anybody who knows anything about it, this is the Indian emblem. It can never be the logo of NMC.
Indian emblem, that was never the logo of NMC.
Yeah, it can't be.
So before 1.5 years ago, before the Dhanvantri logo, what was the logo?
There was no logo. There was no logo because we came into being in 2020.
Sharon now joining me on this broadcast to get us more perspective. Now, Sharon, we've heard the clarification that came to the fore from the National Medical Commission, but what exactly has been the allegation of the opposition? We're given to understand that TMC and the Congress both have come out and reacted to this.
Well, that is right. The left and the TMC has in fact been criticizing the National Medical Commission for coming up with such a logo. They in fact have been saying that an institution or an organization cannot have a religious logo like this. When it comes under the constitution, there needs to be a different kind of logo. Why is it that all the institutions are trying to take a religious line is what the criticism from the opposition parties have been coming at this point. Not just the opposition parties, but we are seeing that the Indian Medical Association, different chapters from Kerala, Odisha have also in fact criticized this particular logo. But the clarification as far as the National Medical Commission is concerned, they have only been addressing the fact that the Dhanvantri logo has always been there since the inception of National Medical Commission, and it was black and white in color, and just recently they decided to color it. So that is the only change that they have come up with. To the criticism that how a deity or a goddess can be part of a logo of an institution, to which they have been saying that this is not a criticism that they understand, and there was no really an answer to it. But as far as the logo has been concerned, the only defense at this point that is coming in from the National Medical Commission is that this was black and white. It has there been over a year. Why is it a hue and cry being created now that they have colored it? There has been no other change that has been made to the logo so far.
Right, Sharon, thank you so much for getting us the inputs on that. Shifting focus now to the freebie debate that has been reignited. We've often had politicians on campaign trail talk about these freebies. We are in election season, but now we have a comment coming to the fore from Infosys founder Narayan Murthy. He says that freebies should not exist at all. He also then went on to say that if at all there are freebies that are doled out during election season, then those receiving it must be held accountable. That has once again divided the political community. Listen in to some of those reactions.
Nothing should be given free, but there should be a contribution of the citizen also towards making our society a better society. So I think So therefore, while I am not against free services being provided, I fully understand. I also came from a poor background once upon a time. But I think we should expect something in return from those people who receive those free subsidies to take a slightly bigger responsibility towards making their future generation, their own future generation, their own children, their own grandchildren better.
Narayana vision is also a part of a development of a common man. But ultimately government has to stand like we should help the farmers, we should help because people have been hit with a lot of price rise. How we can sort it out? Earlier the government said that they were going to double the income of the farmer and common man. You see at the time of crisis of COVID how much they suffered.
ಫ್ರೀಬೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಗೆ ನೀವೇನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ನಾಗರಿಕರ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕೂಡ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ನೀವು ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಸ್ ರೈಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಆಗು ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವುದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರದ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಏನು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸೆಂಟಿವ್ಸು. ಈಗ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಮಿಡ್ ಡೇ ಮೀಲ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಹೇಳಿ? ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಿಡ್ ಡೇ ಮೀಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಲಾಭ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ? ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಲೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರು 10ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಕೊಡೋದು? ಒಂದು ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಬೆಳೀಲಿ, ಅವರು ನಾಳೆ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದಂಥ ನಾಗರಿಕರಾಗಲಿ. ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆನೂ ಇರ್ತವೆ
ಸರ್. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಈ ಥರದ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಗಳ ನಂತರ ಎಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸೂಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮಗಳೇನಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥ
ನೋಡಿ. ಅದೇ ಈಗ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ತಾವು ಹೇಳಿರೋದು ಗಮನಿಸಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಅಧ್ಯಯನದ ಮೇಲೆಗೆ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಮನೆಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಳಿತಾಯ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೇ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಅದು ನೀವು ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು 8ರಿಂದ 12 ಸಾವಿರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗೃಹ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದೊಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು 1,20,000 ಉಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್? ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಡಬ್ಬಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪೌಷ್ಟಿಕ ಆಹಾರ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಖರೀದಿ ಬೇರೆದೇನಾದರೂ ವಸ್ತು ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ತೆರಿಗೆಯಾಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ?
Agreeing to what Narayana Murthy ji has said, that freebies is not a problem, but what is that the society is giving back in terms of receiving something from the government is an absolutely right and a valid point at this point of time, where everybody should contribute to the growing economy, and that's what India is and India should be. And definitely Narayana Murthy ji has suggested a lot on this tech summit, and those things should be taken care by the government of the state as well as center. We are already doing that, and definitely India can progress in much faster way.
Harish now joining us, getting us more inputs on this. Now, Harish, the freebie debate is something that we've often heard of every time there's an election in any state, and we are in fact awaiting results for 5 states on Sunday. But Mr. Narayana Murthy in the recent past has made several comments that have triggered massive controversy.
Absolutely. In this case, there are two questions here on the kind of subsidies that state governments give to companies. He's saying that perhaps companies also need to give it back, especially on the question of freebies to individuals or citizens. Narayana Murthy very clear that it shouldn't just go as a freebie. There should be some sort of a responsibility on the individual to contribute back to the society, and that, he says, is something that is a constructive process. And he says nothing should be for free. If you're not taking any money from an individual, there should be some effort from the individual to ensure that he contributes to the society and generations coming. And you have a very quick response coming in, a very measured response coming in from the state government, saying that there is a lot of benefit, the consumption will increase, it's early days, there will be a study that will conduct. that will be conducted, that kind of gives the indication on how these freebies or guarantees, as the Congress calls it, has contributed to improvement of tax collection, especially in Karnataka.
Harish, thank you so much for getting us the perspective on that. Shifting focus now to West Bengal, where there is another face-off that's brewing between the ruling TMC and the BJP. We saw high drama both inside and outside the West Bengal Assembly after slogans were chanted. This is because we had the TMC, that was the BJP that was protesting. The TMC then played out the national anthem, during which the TMC alleges that BJP MLAs did not stand up. They disrespected the national anthem, which is why an FIR has now been filed against several of those BJP MLAs. That is what the TMC has now come out and alleged, an allegation the BJP denies. Meanwhile, we had the Speaker of the Assembly also come out and say that there are going to be no slogans, no posters that are taken out on the floor of the Assembly without any permission. That has triggered a big fight between the ruling TMC and the BJP there. Listen in to those reactions.
Order has to be passed. I have passed inside the House, and I will circulate it to all the legislature parties. You can have a copy from them. You can get it from our office also. What agitation? If they want to hold any meeting or to hold any discussion within the precinct of the House, outside the Assembly chamber, then they have to solicit permission from them.
I am not saying anything. It is too early to say anything. I instructed my office to collect actual direction of the Honorable Speaker. After examining all the relevant papers, I will speak. My opinion is big battle on the field, on the road will continue. If necessary, legal battle also shall be started.
It's time for a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5, but there's lots lined up for you on the other side. Do stay tuned.
On Rajasthan, and this is the matriz number. The matriz number says Congress is at 75 and the BJP comfortably way past the 100 number, and it will actually sweep this election in Rajasthan, get up to 130 seats. So if they move past the 100 number, the BJP sweeps the election. That's the call, and that's where some of the analysts and the BJP supporters are saying hum 130 par. We heard the LOP of Rajasthan, Mr. Rathore, also say we will be 130. So let's go across to GVL Narasimha Rao and ask him to weigh in on two aspects. GVL, two aspects. One is this entire caste king. Is it a bogey? If you look at the exit pollsters and the way they have voted, it's against the incumbent. That's what it looks like. Or is for the incumbent. Where is there a caste factor there? Secondly, will you look at it from a male-female prism? Does caste not apply to women at all? And the third part, right now, the outliers are saying this way or the other, but so far you seem to be going and getting a clear.
भारत ने सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट और क्लाइमेट चेंज इन दोनों विषयों को बहुत ही प्राथमिकता दी है। हमने वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर को अपनी अध्यक्षता का आधार बनाया और साझा प्रयासों से कई विषयों पर सहमति बनाने में भी सफलता पाई। फ्रेंड्स, हम अब सभी जानते हैं कि भारत सहित ग्लोबल साउथ के तमाम देशों की क्लाइमेट चेंज में भूमिका बहुत कम रही है, पर क्लाइमेट चेंज के दुष्प्रभाव उन पर कहीं अधिक है। संसाधनों की कमी के बावजूद ये देश क्लाइमेट एक्शन के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। ग्लोबल साउथ की आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने के लिए क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस और टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत ही जरूरी है। ग्लोबल साउथ के देशों की अपेक्षा है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज का मुकाबला करने के लिए विकसित देश उनकी अधिक से अधिक मदद करें। ये स्वाभाविक भी है और न्यायोचित भी है। फ्रेंड्स, G20 में इसे लेकर सहमति बनी है कि क्लाइमेट एक्शन के लिए 2030 तक कई ट्रिलियन डॉलर क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस की आवश्यकता है। ऐसा क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस जो अवेलेबल हो, एक्सेसिबल हो और एफोर्डेबल हो। मुझे आशा है कि यूएई के क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस फ्रेमवर्क इनिशिएटिव से इस दिशा में बल मिलेगा। कल हुई लॉस एंड डैमेज फंड को ऑपरेशनलाइज करने के ऐतिहासिक निर्णय का भारत स्वागत करता है। इससे COP28 समिट में नई आशार का संचार हुआ है। हम उम्मीद करते हैं COP समिट से क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस से जुड़े अन्य विषयों पर भी ठोस परिणाम निकलेंगे। पहला, COP28 में न्यू कलेक्टिव क्वांटिफाइड गोल ऑन क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस पर वास्तविक प्रगति होगी। दूसरा, ग्रीन क्लाइमेट फंड और एडॉप्शन फंड में कमी नहीं होने दी जाएगी। इस फंड की त्वरित भरपाई की जाएगी। तीसरा, मल्टीलेटरल डेवलपमेंट बैंक्स विकास के साथ साथ क्लाइमेट एक्शन के लिए भी एफोर्डेबल फाइनेंस उपलब्ध कराएंगे। और चौथा, विकसित देश 2050 से पहले अपना कार्बन फुटप्रिंट जरूर खत्म करेंगे। मैं यूएई द्वारा क्लाइमेट इन्वेस्टमेंट सब फंड स्थापित करने की घोषणा का हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं, उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू।
Thousands of delegates from across the world will descend on this building. Hundreds are already pouring in. These are world leaders, religious leaders, activists, corporate bigwigs. US and China are the two biggest polluters on this planet, and their presidents are a no-show. Rich countries are in no hurry to fund climate action. Expectations are low at this COP summit, which is ironic because their job is to literally save the world.
Pradesh and in Rajasthan. What does that imply for Lok Sabha 2024? 3 questions.
Yeah, Anand, you see, certainly the caste voting in any given state is more pronounced among men compared to women. Women tend to vote more on performance, more on governance, and less so among men. I think this will be a big gap. If 30%, if 60% men vote caste, the number would be significantly less in the case of women. It's not to say that women don't consider caste as a phenomenon, but the intensity is much lower. Number one. Number two, caste is a factor not in these states alone. Caste is a factor in every state. Be it Tamil Nadu, be it Karnataka, be it Kerala. Kerala is a state which is highly literate. But caste is a factor there also. But caste results in long-term political preferences for political parties. So if you see one particular caste is more inclined towards LDF, another is more inclined towards UDF, and that does not change drastically from election to election.
Right.
The vote swings are very limited. Whereas in some states, they will vote based on the caste of a candidate. I will put Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
They are not heavily voting on the basis of caste, and certainly performance, governance are important factors in these states.
Right. Right.
And as regards impact on the Lok Sabha elections.
Yeah, well, I'll come to that. Just hold your thought, sir. I've got Arun Sao of BJP MP from Chhattisgarh is also right now at this with us. Arun ji, namaste. छत्तीसगढ़ में बाघेल जी वापस आ रहे हैं, लग रहा है कांग्रेस आ रही है वापस. बीजेपी को थोड़ा गेन मिला है, लेकिन बीजेपी पीछे है.
बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. छत्तीसगढ़ के गांव गांव गली गली में नारा गूंजा है और नहीं सहिबो बदल के रहिबो. छत्तीसगढ़ में भाजपा आवत है, ये नारा पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ में गूंजा है. और देखिएगा जब 3 दिसंबर को मतगणना होगी तो आप पाएंगे कि छत्तीसगढ़ में कमल खिल रहा है. भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली है.
तो आपके हिसाब से
आत्मविश्वास
आपके हिसाब से 45 का हाफवे मार्क है, तो भाजपा उसको पार कर पाएगी? कितनी सीटें आप भाजपा को दे रहे हैं? आपका आकलन क्या है?
निश्चित रूप से पूर्ण बहुमत भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिलेगा, क्योंकि हमने नरेंद्र मोदी की गारंटी जनता के सामने प्रस्तुत किया है. हमारे केंद्रीय नेताओं के लगातार प्रवास हुए हैं. वहीं दूसरी ओर राज्य की कांग्रेस सरकार ने हर वर्ग को ठगने का काम किया, धोखा देने का काम किया. एक भी वादा 2018 में जनता से जो वायदे
ये सब तो आप चुनाव में जाकर जनता को कह रहे हैं. अरुण जी, मैं आपको टोक रहा हूं, क्योंकि किसी भी एग्जिट पोलस्टर ने छत्तीसगढ़ में बीजेपी को बहुमत नहीं दिया है. सारे आंकड़े हमारे सामने हैं, किसी ने भी नहीं दिया है. तो आप कैसे कह रहे हैं?
कल तक आप लोग ये कहा करते थे कि मुकाबले में नहीं है छत्तीसगढ़ में भारतीय जनता पार्टी, बहुत दूर है कांग्रेस से. लेकिन आज जब एग्जिट पोल आया है, आपने नजदीक की फाइट दिखाई है, तो ये बताता है कि कहीं ना कहीं भारतीय जनता पार्टी फाइट में है. लेकिन ये सैंपल साइज बहुत कम संख्या का होता है. मैं आपसे दावे के साथ कह सकता हूं कि अपने कार्यकर्ताओं के मेहनत के दम पर जनता का जो रिस्पांस हमें मिला है, पिछले 1.5 सालों में हमने जनता के हर मुद्दे को सड़क से लेकर सदन तक लड़ाई लड़ी है, और जनता का आशीर्वाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिला है.
47 सीटें
क्योंकि राज्य की कांग्रेस सरकार ने ऐसा निश्चित रूप से 3 दिसंबर को देखिएगा, छत्तीसगढ़ में कमल खिलेगा और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी.
3 दिसंबर को मैं आपको आमंत्रित करता हूं कि आप जुड़े हमारे साथ फिर से, और फिर साथ में फिर जश्न मनाएंगे. अगर आप जीतते हैं, और अगर नहीं जीते तो फिर आपको कुछ प्रश्नों के जवाब.
बिल्कुल जश्न मनाएंगे, और छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता भी एक बार फिर दिवाली मनाएगी. राज्य की अन्यायी, अत्याचारी, भ्रष्टाचारी कांग्रेस की सरकार से छुटकारा मिलेगा 3 दिसंबर को. और छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता एक बार फिर दिवाली बनाएगी.
जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अरुण साहू जी. थैंक यू वेरी मच. नाउ ब्रिंगिंग द कन्वर्सेशन बैक टू दिस होल मैंडेट कन्वर्सेशन. Is it a pro-Modi mandate, or is it an anti-incumbent mandate in the states? Where do we stand on that? GVL Narasimha Rao was about to opine on that, but we'll go to GVL first. We take it here.
Stand, which is basically shows a 2-2 kind of draw between BJP and Congress. It's definitely a pro-Modi mandate.
See, Congress has become stronger in Telangana. Now it's 63. Congress exit poll of polls. The poll of poll number for the Congress is 63. Way clear.
I'm saying that for a couple of reasons. In Madhya Pradesh, they've had 2 decades of income of a BJP government with a 1.5 year interim of Kamal Nath in between. 3-4 months ago, nobody gave BJP a chance in Madhya Pradesh. If the BJP, if there's still such a tight contest in Madhya Pradesh with the BJP ahead in a margin call, I think that's That's a lot of credit to the BJP party machinery and to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has been at the center stage of the BJP campaign in both Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, despite it having old satraps who have been who not been with the chief ministerial phase. So if the BJP does do well in both these states, you'll have to say that brand Modi retains its potency for the BJP.
There is one thing we are forgetting in all of this. If you say that the Congress is going to win in Telangana, then basically the BRS is going to start fighting for its survival at some level. What does that do in the Lok Sabha scenario to that state? It opens that state up.
Yeah.
Those seats then are open season.
Yeah, they're ripe for the BJP.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Anusha Soni. The exit poll results for all the 5 states of the big 2023 Assembly election battle. The states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana, Chhattisgarh and Mizoram are out. And the prediction of the 2 states in favor of the BJP, that's something I'm sure BJP will cherish. Pollsters also indicate that BJP